Talk to me about how would you structure that today if you could, knowing what you know, go back and do it all over? What would the recipe be?
Yeah, that's great, Sean. I think the most successful opportunity sets in the space, kind of like next 5 years, involve taking some of the uh, technology usage risk off the table for the customer. So if you think about the things that the customers have to do, and we walk through this quite a lot with people in, especially the Air National Guard, for example. I'll just kind of highlight that there were a lot of people that were already 3D printing inside the Air Force. The Air Force has a very robust 3D printing group headed by incredibly intelligent folks. They're putting out, in some cases, incredible parts. The Air Force can be credited actually with sort of helping to push a lot of the growth in additive historically. I mean, look back at the Fortis 900 systems, that were co-developed in many ways between people that fly planes and the systems producers and all that. So, but the reality was what we had to do at Essentium was we had to help train these new users of our additive system, our additive flavor, and that's a common theme that I saw also even at Nexa 3D. There was a constant training requirement for people to use photo printing on the Nexa flavor, even if they were familiar with other flavors. The point there is that whenever you ask a customer to have to learn something new while the customer is also under pressure to produce the component, that's a huge challenge. And the customer believes they can take the challenge on, and many customers can, but many customers can't. They don't understand all of the ins and outs. I mean, if somebody calls in sick, at the site, and then there's going to be a trainer that's coming to the site that day, training has to be rescheduled, and usually it's 2 weeks to 4 weeks out. There's just all these concatenating delays. So what I think the good plays are going forward rest largely on a service component where there's a really great company that happens to use additive manufacturing to produce solutions for its customers. And so the additive company retains that know-how, that intellectual property, the trade secret awareness, all of that around how to produce great parts. So that's an advantage, an enduring advantage for the additive company. And then the secondary advantage is the additive company is selling the actual component, just like a machine shop or a sheet metal shop or an injection molding house would sell a component into a value chain. The beautiful thing about that is that everybody kind of knows how to buy a single component on the customer side, whether it's using automotive, like a tier one, tier two, or the OEM themselves. They know how to think about buying components. And usually where additive really wins then is in providing these smaller sets of components. And the pricing then on parity can compete and can win when it's an additive part produced at 100 pieces or 1,000 pieces versus the tooling and molding costs in some cases of parts produced at 100 or 1,000 pieces for these limited runs. So there are ways that additive can really win. I just think the classic model over the last 5 years of companies like ours and others that sold a machine and then tried to sell the materials, so sort of the razor blade, that was a played out playbook, man. And there are so few industrial buyers that can buy the razor and then afford to use it 24/7. So they're buying a lot of razor blades to support that business model at scale for the additive company. So it's kind of just a mismatch at the end of the day.